Metroid has a weird timeline. You've got the first one, Return of Samus, Super Metroid, pretty standard affair. But then Fusion brought Prime along with it to the party. Someone important at Nintendo saw that and said, "You know what? This is better. Let's never make a sequel again." And in the 18 years since, we have gotten 3 new installments, 2 remakes, 3 spin-offs, the best fan-made game I've ever seen, and whatever you prefer to call this abomination. And none of those take place after Fusion. And it's not like Fusion was some kind of final chapter. That game ends with Samus actively working against the Federation. She's a fugitive. There are fun ways to continue that. And thankfully, with the latest remake, Samus Returns, we finally got some semblance of a tease that Metroid's story will continue forward. Maybe. Could just take place between Prime 4 and Super Metroid or something. But it's the best hope we've had in decades. And this little image here is extremely interesting, showing off a warlike faction of the previously peaceful, highly advanced Chozo race. The race that raised Samus, created the Metroids. The whole series is basically their fault. A very fun potential new threat. Lots of ways to take this. So let's talk about one of them. Picking up after Fusion, Samus is avoiding the Federation. She directly disobeyed orders, destroyed the research facility. But she did so for the right reasons, so she's slowly starting to patch things up. But just when things seem to be turning out okay, the warrior Chozo attack the galaxy, who I will henceforth refer to as the Wozo to differentiate them. These Wozo split off from the Chozo years and years ago, disgusted by how their peaceful brethren essentially wiped themselves out of existence. They see themselves as the superior race, the caretakers of the galaxy, and they plan to subjugate everyone else, with violence if necessary, in order to forcibly guarantee galactic peace. And they've got the technology to back that up. The Chozo have always been leagues ahead of every other race. They made the Metroids. So the initial stages of the Wozo War are embarrassing for the Federation. We're talking Covenant versus humanity, Protoss versus Terran. Entire planets get glassed. Samus tries to help, because of course she does, she's Samus. But this is a foe that she is useless against. Her suit is Chozo technology. She's been infused with both Chozo and Metroid DNA. And that's not gonna cut it here. She tries her traditional one-woman army approach and gets thoroughly trounced. She barely escapes with her life, and the Federation paints her as a scapegoat, as she did destroy the only thing we know that truly threatened the Chozo, the X-Parasite. So, the Wozo effortlessly counter her, and the Federation hates her. Samus is alone. She still wants to help the galaxy because she's Samus, she's awesome like that, but she's out of options. Both sides of the war want her dead, and she doesn't have a way to fight back. Except, there is a third faction in Metroid lore. A powerful, persistent faction that, while currently broken after many losses, would not take kindly to being wiped out by the Wozo. A faction that specializes in cannibalizing technology from other races to adapt and counter any threat they come across, something Samus now needs. And a faction that hates and fears Samus to such a degree that they view her as the most dangerous threat in the universe, and as such, in a situation like this, also their best hope at survival. It would be a fun, fascinating new take on Metroid if Samus had to work with the space pirates to save the galaxy. And I'm not talking some ridiculous story of, oh, the space pirates were actually the good guys all along. No, that's dumb. But the fact of the matter is that they are the lesser of two evils. Both the pirates and the Wozo want to enslave the galaxy, but the Wozo can't be stopped. The pirates have been, consistently. So with a mutual hatred and an understanding that they'll kill each other when this is all over, Samus works alongside the space pirates to face this new threat. Now I think that story thread speaks for itself, but the gameplay this could provide is also fascinating. It could allow for brand new abilities for Samus to use, as the pirates provide her with warped variants of the things that she's used against them. Their version of the grapple beam isn't as elegant, it's more of a hook shot than anything else, but that allows for different methods of traversal, and a satisfying get over here tool to be used in combat. They could cannibalize the enemies that Samus defeats, to provide entirely new weapons for her to use. Fight something like the Diggernaut, they tear it apart, put some pieces back together, now you have a giant laser beam. They could also provide some of their own awesome tools. the ability to grip and climb walls, shoulder-mounted jetpacks. These guys have wrist blades. Those would be so cool on Samus. To wrap this up, just picture this. Ridley probably isn't dead. That's not his thing, he's got better things to do. Just imagine some kind of giant Wozo Death Machine boss battle, like Super Metroid's Mother Brain. The boss uses some kind of unbeatable attack, you're helpless on the ground, when the baby Metroid swoops in. Except it's Ridley. You fight this ultimate threat alongside him, working seamlessly together because they know from experience exactly how the other prefers to fight, then promptly try to kill each other once it's done. Will this happen? Who knows? But man, do I like the idea.